Yeah.
What it do, T Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 24 review. Let's get right into it. The episode begins with Nell and Chris. They're out dancing at their favorite spot, Reflection, because she likes to dance, honey. That's how they communicate. It's one of their love languages. And Nell got on one of her freakum dresses, honey. Nell look good, though. Her body is everything. She is so pretty. I just wish she get their hair together. But other than that, she looked real cute. He had on like his little Versace shirt, child. They was cute. So they sit down to talk, and Chris brings up how he's still trying to get Martell up out that house. If you don't call the police and say that man is squatting and get it over with. So Nell then brings up how Martell came over to the house to bring over the wine, and how he was bringing up they need to pick a side and all of this stuff when it comes to Mel, and they both say how they're not going to do that. They're just simply not, which they shouldn't be made to have to, first of all. And then she brings up how he got loud with her when she was talking about Mel's name change. And so Chris was like, oh, so I guess I need to have a conversation with him then to see like what's going on and like why was he coming at you like that. And it's because Martell likes to throw tantrums when he don't get his way. Point blank and the period. And then we switch over to Tiffany meeting up with Stormy at this like furniture store. And I was like, why you sitting up here talking about you trying to pick out little gifts to send to everybody that came to your little baby shower thing? Baby, you need to be in there buying stuff for that house. I'm sick of it. That house looks like a bachelor's pad. It's horrible. So, Tiffany was like, I didn't know Kiki could be so irrelevant and relevant at the same time, because they talk about what happened at Kimmy's house. And Stormy says that she wishes they would stop with the shade. And she brings up Tiffany's interview that she did with Carlos King, where she was like going in on Kiki or whatever. And so Tiffany wonders in her confessional if Kiki and Stormy are cooking up something against her. Because why else would Stormy be bringing this up to her? And I was like, you that self-absorbed that you don't think somebody can tell you how they feel you wrong without them trying to, sneak attack you or something? Like, Tiffany, please lose yourself. Oh my gosh, she's so annoying. So Tiffany says that she hangs around people that are doing stuff with their life, and not people like Kiki who just run around town starting stuff and throwing drinks on people and all of this stuff. And I'm like, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Because all you do is start stuff for people. That's all you do. So the things that you don't like about Kiki, you don't like about yourself. Like, make it make sense. And somebody need to tell her about herself. So Stormy says that somebody has to stop it, and that Tiffany drug it along too far with the stuff she was saying in the interview. And of course, Tiffany don't agree. So Stormy was like, are you gonna be in a room acting like you better than her? And Tiffany's like, I'm not better than her. Stormy was like, that's not what you said on Carlos King's show. It was kind of hard for me to watch. And once again, Tiffany just standing there with a dumbfounded look on her face, like just so shocked that somebody is calling her out for doing team too much. Like, you cannot like a person, but it ain't that deep. For somebody that's so irrelevant, you sure always talking about her. Like, come on, girl. Stormy explains how she was hurt by the interview herself, because I think Stormy feel like, well, if you could feel that way about her, then what you think about me? We're not that far off from each other. You know what I'm saying? So she also says that Kiki, to her, seemed very apologetic for what happened at Kimmy's house and how it's something that she regretted doing. And Tiffany was like, oh, so you asked her if she was receptive to talking to me, or is this Stormy stirring the pot? Stormy said, don't do that. Don't do that, because I ain't got to stir nothing. Stormy be cracking me up. So she was like, let's go sit down, because this got weird. She like, girl, I'm just trying to talk to you. Don't play with me, Tiffany, while you got on this pink cape, okay? So they sit down, and Stormy was like, why would you say that? And Tiffany says, because it seems like it's one-sided. Like, you just talk to her and you believe in everything that come out of her mouth, basically. So Stormy tells her that, when she did talk to Kiki, that Kiki brought up that she'd heard that you were going around talking about she can't move school districts and this, that, and the third. Tiffany staring around, telling some, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I've never talked about that with anybody. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I too much believe that, but So then Stormy brings up how Kiki told her she was talking about her hair care products. And she was like, that's not true. I just literally ran out of one of your products and I used them in my kids' hair. So in her confessional, Tiffany was like, I don't know why Kiki is trying to start stuff between me and Stormy because we've been in a good place. So I don't know what to believe at this point. After that, Stormy brings up how you going back and forth with a person like Kiki could eventually end up in a physical altercation. And I know you don't want that. And Tiffany was like, of course not. And she was like, but you keep fucking with her. So that's going to end up happening if you keep on. And so Tiffany was like, so you're saying I need to stop poking the bear? She was like, yeah, especially when you know it's a bear. Like, what about this? Don't you get, like, somebody gonna pop you? Like, I don't think you get it. And you just can't be taking jabs at certain people. Like, everybody not gonna play with you. Everybody not gonna go back and forth. A lot of people don't like to talk. A lot of people just about that action just gonna pop you in the face. Period, Tiffany. So it's the day of Mel's name change ceremony, and everybody is out back awaiting her arrival. She has an orchestra, decor. She has a table set for everybody to have lunch, and she has glam done. She got a pastor there. It's really beautiful the way she had everything set up. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I really wasn't feeling that her and that makeup, but the outfit was, cute for the moment. You know what I'm saying? She's really excited and nervous about it. Nell and Chris came to show support, as well as her family and close friends. I was shocked that she didn't have Kimmy there, Kimmy and maybe even Tiffany, but none of the other cast members were there. That was a shock. So she comes out and she stands with the pastor and she says vows to herself and her family about taking her name back. She becomes teary-eyed. Everybody in the audience, child, is crying because that they've gone through a lot with her during the last however many years dealing with Martell and all of that stuff. And then Miss Vanessa gets up and she does a very beautiful speech telling Mel how proud of her she is and talk about the Rogers last name and how important it is. And Mel, was just crying and everything. It was honestly a very sweet moment. It really was. So after the ceremony, Nell thinks that it's a good decision to pull Mel to the side to tell her about her conversation with Martell. And Mel in her confession was like, why is Miss Nell pulling me to the side talking to me about this? Like, today is not about Martell. Like, really, girl? Like, I understand we filming the show, granted, but like, this could have waited. Honestly, you could have waited till the next day. You could have waited and you could have told me this the day before. Like, come on now. So Nell tells her the story like Martell was the one that brought it up to her. And I'm like, see, you already starting off wrong. Nah, this is the second thing you done did wrong. Because first of all, you shouldn't have brought it up to in the first place. And then second of all, you the one that brought it up to him. He didn't bring it up to you. Girl, you lying, Miss Nell. Now, I don't like that now. You starting to get on my nerves. So then Nell says how he got mad when he found out that she was going to attend the name change. And how he said that she never holds Mel accountable. And Mel was like, hold me accountable for what? And she was like, your infidelity. And she was like, first of all, that's a lie. He needs to get off that. And she was like, and at the end of the day, I'm not worried about my past. I'm worried about my future. So we're going to put a needle in that, put a pin in it. Me and my cape, me and my Christmas tree cape are about to go and enjoy my event. Like, girl, no, ain't nobody about to play these games. No. So her good friend, Dr. Shanita Foster, gets up and does a speech. I don't know if you remember Shanita Foster, but she was on that one season of Football Wives on, I believe, VH1. And so I wonder is her and her husband still married. But yeah, she was on that show, and her and Mel are really good friends, and she does a really nice speech to Mel, and it was really, a very cute moment. We then sit down with Stormy and her business partner, and the way they was telling the story, it was like jumping all over the place. But basically what I got from their conversation was that Stormy almost lost not only her business, but her home due to bad business decisions, helping out her family. When she said when she was on bed rest, somebody forged her signature on checks and took a lot of money from her and everything. And she said even in June of 2022, like she was at rock bottom with the company and nobody knew. And since she's come out of that, she now wants to celebrate them getting things back on track. And her business partner, just reiterated that no more snakes. They just got to stay on point with everything. So it's really sad to hear that she went through all of that. I wish it was a little bit more clearer exactly the timelines of this stuff and exactly what happened. But I'm happy to hear that she got her business back together. Then at the end of the episode, Nell and Chris have their kids over for dinner. And we learned that they came into their marriage with a child of peace. So she had her son Lance and he had his daughter Alexis. And then they had 2 children together, which is their son Chris and Kayla. Now, Chris's daughter Alexis is married to a white man who looked like his name could be Shaggy. And then Nell has a niece by the name of Kiki who she helped raise. And recently she had to fire her. And so she didn't find out until her husband told her that her niece has another job. So at the dinner, she asked Kiki, is she back working? And she was like, yeah, I'm back working. She was like, but I got fired and then I got another job, but I'm working. So Nell is upset because she feels as though she should have came to her and told her instead of just running and telling her uncle Chris that she's back working. Now, I don't understand why this is such a big deal to Nell about whether or not she's working or not and hasn't told her. I don't know if that's the case because maybe it's a situation where she's receiving free child care from Nell, because she said that the reason why she'd gotten fired from one of the jobs is because she didn't have proper child care. So maybe it's a situation where her child is going to Nell's daycare for free and she ain't said nothing. You know what I'm saying? That she's working and Nell feel like, okay, girl, you working, you need to be paying me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the situation on why Nell is so upset. That's the only thing that I can think of at this point, which would be a valid reason. Like, I'm trying to help you and then you trying to, get over maybe. That's the case. So, Nell was like, I feel like you should have told me, especially since I'm the one helping you. So Kiki was like, I didn't say nothing because of the way you react to things. Like, you go from 0 to 100 really quick. And so Nell was like, okay, we got to talk about this. Let's sit down, because at this point she's irritated. So Nell says in her confessional that she feels like the kids favor Chris over her. And judging by the way she responds to things, I can see kind of why they might go to their dad and talk to him about things, because Chris is way more laid back and easy, whereas it seemed from this episode that Nell can be very high strung. But maybe she's high strung because she is in fact doing everything for everybody and she doesn't feel like she's appreciated, probably. So, Nell asks her niece Kiki, are you going to keep this job? And Kiki was like, well, first of all, you act like I can't hold a job. You're a bit over dramatic. And Nell was like, you'd be dramatic too if you always had to do everything. But then y'all run to your, what you call him, your uncle daddy. So Chris was like, their son Chris was like, I don't just personally go to him and try to ignore you. And Nell was like, well, you used to call me every day, but now you don't barely call me. And he was like, well, yeah, that's true. So then we learned that Chris Jr. had recently been locked up. And while he was locked up, they had to take care of his dogs. So they had to take him to, the vet, appointments and all of this stuff, which was $3,800 out their pocket. Then on top of that, they had to bail him out of jail, which was another $6,000. So he owes them a lot of money and he has not paid said money yet. So they said they're not going to give him back his dogs until they get their money. But he feels like, why should I pay y'all back when y'all keeping my dogs? I know you lying. I know you lying, sir, because you would still be sitting up in the jail cell hoping to not drop the soap and clenching your booty cheeks tight if it wasn't for us. You done lost your mind, sir. He wouldn't have been at my table eating, talking about no mess like that up out his mouth. So, of course, Nell gets mad because, like, who you talking to? And Chris just, sitting back, laid back, and they going back and forth, and, she's arguing him like, you crazy to think that. So at some point, Nell snapped and was like, shut the hell up. And the episode goes off. Baby, I need a reality show about Nell and her family, child. Forget all this extra stuff. Because on next week's episode, Chris' daughter Alex is going to accuse him of not being there for her until she was like in her late 20s, child. Baby, it's a story there on Nell and that family, child. I was like, why y'all ain't been had Nell and her family on the show? Y'all been sleeping. Instead of having Tiffany hey on the show, they got a way better family dynamic than Tiffany and them. You ain't never even really seen, hell, we haven't seen Tiffany and his kids on the show. Like, huh? But yeah, keep Nell and Chris Fletcher and their kids. Excellent storyline there. But overall, I'm going to give this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville a C+. I felt like it was a decent episode, almost like a filler episode, but I feel like next week's episode is going to be a lot more entertaining. Y'all let me know, though, what y'all thought about it down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.